Saturday morning, time for the Experts program on Power Talk 1460 and 101 FM. That means we start off talking technology with Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group. Good morning, Luis.
Good morning, Mark. How are you today?
Doing pretty good. We've got the weekend on us, and Thanksgiving is just a few days from now. Have you got your turkey and everything ready to go?
Well, we're going up to the Bay Area. My wife's family, Ronnie's family, lives up in the Walnut Creek area, and we're going to go up to her sister's house in Orinda, where the family will gather Thursday for festivities. So I'm looking forward to it. Going to watch 3 football games. Excited about that.
Yep.
And
now, hold on. Time out. One of those games is going to feature the Detroit Lions. Can you really be excited when you have to watch the Detroit Lions?
Fortunately, that one's the early game, so it'll be in the background while we're cooking.
All right, carry on.
So anyway, we're really looking forward to it. It looks like there's going to be some rain next week, so I have to see how that affects the impact. How about you? What are you going to be doing?
Probably going up to my sister's house for Thanksgiving as well. All right, net zero energy homes have arrived, and they're shaking up the U.S. housing market. Now, does this mean that the house I live in has got to be net zero energy, or is this if I'm going to build a new home?
So this is a requirement starting next year in California that every new home that gets built will have to be a net zero energy. That is, it will have to produce as much energy as it consumes. On the face of it, what that means is you're going to be seeing much more energy efficient devices being put into homes. New homes will all come with solar panels because no matter how energy efficient you are, you still got to generate some electricity. So you're going to see solar panels on homes. So the solar panel industry is going to go crazy because being California, what happens in California, people watch throughout the country. And if it's successful, they adopt it themselves. So you kind of figure that we're going to be the first of many states that are going to do this. But the idea is to try to reduce our reliance on other fossil fuels, but also become more energy independent. So it'll be an interesting development for sure.
I wonder when you add those solar panels on the roof of a home, if that extends the life of the roof under the panel.
That's a good question. I'm not sure, but I do know that, like in our case, we had solar installed earlier this year. It really was fascinating to watch them do the work, and we used Scudder Solar. They kept us abreast of everything that they were doing every step of the way, and I was amazed by the fact that it was such an easy process. So even putting in solar on existing homes is something that we're going to see more of. But this whole idea of solar panels will obviously mean that cost of the new homes, California, will go up yet again, right? Because somebody's pay for the $40,000 to $50,000 that it's going to cost to do that. But studies have shown that in effect, the adding the solar becomes a cost savings to the homeowner because even though they're going to be paying a little bit more in the mortgage to pay for the solar panels, they will actually be saving money on their electric bill, which more than offsets the cost of the additional solar panels on the house. So it's a net gain for new homeowners. So
eventually you're going to get that money back in savings.
Yeah. So, you're going to see, for example, one study showed that even though it's going to add about $40 a month in monthly mortgage payments, your electric bill for a house is typically, $100 or more. So you're going to be saving about $80 on your electric bill. So in a net savings over the year and over the life of the mortgage. So, and you're somewhat energy independent. You don't have to worry about things like brownouts and those sorts of things because you have your own panels.
Now, the U.S. has 5,000 net zero energy single-family homes so far, over 7,000 net zero multifamily homes, I guess like condominiums, duplexes, fourplexes, apartment buildings. That number could expand in 2020. They're saying that new home construction in California could push those numbers up pretty quickly.
Yeah, and especially with all of the initiatives that the state now has, because we have this heartbreaking housing shortage. We're just not building enough houses, and so the state is providing a lot of funding to build new homes, and we're going to see a pretty big surge starting next year of housing construction, and all of those will follow this net zero energy requirement. So it's going to be interesting to see what impact that's going to have on the environment as well as on the power grid.
I know that one of the things that many communities are doing is they are banning the use or the installation of natural gas into many homes. And I don't know if that's the best thing to do because, that's actually one of the cleanest gases that you can use or cleanest fossil fuels is natural gas. When you talk to people who like to cook, They hate the idea of not being able to have a gas stove because they say that, and they're quite correct in it, you cannot control temperature. When you're cooking, you can't control temperature with electricity the same way you can with natural gas. And most professional chefs, when you go into any restaurant, there's no restaurant in the world worth its salt that will cook with an electric range.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a gas range.
And I think what you're going to see is there's a lot of, I can tell you based on what I saw at CES earlier this year, the industry is starting to take notice of the fact that gas is being diminished in use, and there's some people that are trying to get rid of using gas for home appliances. So they're starting to make the electric appliances smarter and more resilient, right? Because the thing that you like about gas cooking is I can turn the temperature down instantly.
Right.
And I can adjust the temperature pretty quickly. And you can't do that with an electric stovetop because it just is so much slower. But now they're starting to develop new ways of using electricity for stovetops that are as responsive and as quick to cool or heat as gas stoves. So
that would be good.
That I think will help. But I'm with you. If you talk to Ronnie, who loves to cook, if you told her she had to use an electric stovetop, she would be very unhappy.
The worst electric stovetops are the smooth surface ones.
Oh, yeah.
You have to take the pot off of it in order to get it to cool down because unlike the old style wire grids, there's at least some airflow around those that they'll cool down. Those smooth top surfaces take forever to cool down.
That, and you never know when they're hot. And you can accidentally put your hand on them, as I have done more than once. So it's it's a scary prospect for me.
Hey, one other thing to mention here before we go: what's going to happen to the electric or the gas-powered water heater that I have in my garage?
So that's the other thing that's going to disappear because gas-powered water heaters and heating a tank of water and keeping it hot throughout the day, whether it's being used or not, is a very energy inefficient system. You're going to start to see a proliferation of electric-powered instant heat water heaters. Yeah, I just was at a friend's house who has one, and it's really great. As soon as you turn on these things have been around for years.
Right.
I had my apartment in Berlin that I had back in the 80s had one, but they're not very popular in the United States. And you're going to start seeing more of those because storing hot water for an indefinite period of time and using gas to heat it all the time is a very energy inefficient way of creating hot water.
I remember a neighbor of mine when I lived in a condominium, he had one of those instant on hot water systems and he had all the wire, it was all out, all the plumbing out in the garage. It looked like something out of the Batcave.
Yeah. It's a funny thing to see. My friend was outside his house and, he took me out there and you can see all the tubing coming in, but it's this big Sony thing that would create hot water instantly. The good news about that was that you never ran out of hot water, no matter how many showers you took.
Well, I'll tell you what, he must have liked it because when he and his wife moved, he took it with him.
Not surprised. It's a pretty cool little device, and you're going to start seeing a lot more of them on homes starting next year.
Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, has been our guest today. We've been talking about net zero homes, and if you want to learn more about that, go online to alvareztg.com. The Twitter handle, @alvareztg.com. He does tweet, but not as frequently as the President of the United States. You're not...
Correct. I don't have that much time in my day.
Okay. And Luis, what's the toll-free number for the I-Team?
Give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.